Why did you choose to go overseas? There were a bunch of options available in India. So why did you choose to go abroad?
See, when you ask anyone about like why do you want to go overseas, basically you have this thing that in studying in your home country it relaxes you, so you're not flexible enough, and the most important thing that I feel, and that the main reason I went for study abroad, is I want exposure, and I thought that US was the perfect place for me to get an exposure in my major, that's management. And people I follow, most of them, like I can name a few, like all the people like Ambani's, and they have studied from the US. There's a reason they have studied from there. I mean, that's the reason I plan to go there and follow my major. And it's just like, they're so flexible over there that you can decide. The management is a huge major. There's so many things when you keep on going, right? So the reason there's a 4-year college instead of a 3-year like the normal London and India is because the first year you can decide what you want to do, and that's pretty good. I mean, that system is pretty good. So that's the reason I chose US.
Where about this flexibility before you chose?
Yes, because I researched into the universities and the first year, and I read some reviews on websites too. So they say that the first year is a deciding year. It's the decision year. You make decisions what you want to do, because I might think that I might do management, but when I get there, you never know. I might just go into I might just take sociology as my major.
The process of selecting the universities, the countries, etc. What process did you really follow?
Selecting the country, as I told you, is basically I had to go to the US because all my role models studied from there and in the same field. So that was my main reason, because the US is it's the largest economy in the world, and a lot of job opportunities and exposure. And then my university, it's University of California, and it has 10 major campuses in California itself. So the reason I chose the newest campus, which is not that old, is because when there's a player when you rank players, right? There's the top player who's ranked 1, and there's a second player who's ranked 2nd. You won't see that much dedication in the first player as you would see in the second one, because the second one is striving to become first. Sure. So that's the reason I chose to go to UC Merced, because it is striving to become the best UC in the system. And the amount of dedication given by the professors, the facilities, and everything, it has covered everything that the other UCs haven't. And it's a 21st century university, that's what I can say. So that was my first reason to choose that university. The second thing is, since it's a new university, not a lot of people, the teacher to student interaction is more. Compared to universities, we have 100 students in a class, and then the professor doesn't even know you. But in this one, the professor personally knows you. And the most important thing that I've realized in 2 years in the university is that you need to know your professors. You need to know your professors, because when you go in the outside world, they are the ones who are going to get you a job, and they are the ones who are going to give you recommendations. So you need to know them, and you need to use them, and you need to squeeze all the benefits out of them.
Did you take help of any admission guidance companies like EGE or anybody else when you were in the process of applying and really physically filing the applications?
Yes, I did. In fact, I had one counselor. I didn't initially take help because I thought I would do it all by myself, and for some reason it didn't yield any results. But then I met this guy. He was an individual counselor, and he guided me to some schools, and I did apply to those schools, and eventually I didn't get my choice of schools. We could have worked out, but we applied in a short time span, so we didn't have enough time to go over the application process and everything, so we had to do everything quick. And that's the reason I think that when you apply to big schools, you need some time. You need some time to apply, because you have to write your letter of recommendations, your statement of purposes thoughtfully, and not just scribble all over the paper or all over the essays. So luckily I ended at UC Merced. That's a good thing, but I regret because I wish I had more time.
What do you think is really the value addition, that an admission guidance company brings to a student who is really seeking to study abroad?
The thing, it really helps you a lot. I mean, you're really unsure about how to go about the process. It's a huge process. It's tedious, and you don't know what those documents are. You don't know how to get those documents. And if you take help of a professional agency or professional company or advising or counseling, they can at least advise you how to go about the process and make the right decision. That's the most important thing. If you make the right decision, they will help you from there, because they will do everything methodically. Mm-hmm. They'll help you. They'll tell you that what you need, what all documents you need, what kind of GPA you need to have for this university, and if you're eligible for financial aid or some scholarships or any sort of aid to you, and how to apply, when to apply, all the deadlines, and certain subjects such as housing, employment, driving licenses, and all that. They are very fruitful about that information.
What would be your advice, to other people who are, in the similar process, struggling between which country, which course, which university? I mean, from your lessons or, your learnings, what would be your advice to them? What should they do?
They should research as much as possible.
On their own?
On their own first.
Okay.
They should research on their own first, and then seek help. Go to the counselors, because you never know, they might research some wrong things and they think that this is the one I want to go to. Some people are stubborn that they want to go to this because they said that I've researched, but they may be wrong, because you interpret many things differently. So research, gather as much as information as possible, go to the counselors and seek help, and they will filter out the right choices for you. And once that's filtered out, then you research more, and then you go to the counselor. Actually, the counselor will do everything after that for you. You don't need to do anything by yourself. And now in India, they have started being really true about what you want. And plus, counseling agencies such as EGE, they have started providing psychometric tests. So that's one great thing, because you know where to go. Because a student just walks in and says that I'm going to do management, because commerce, science, it's a common field, but they don't know what to do after that. So you never know. A person who's saying he'll do commerce and then ends up in the psychometric test, the results that he's going to do really good in arts or sociology or physiology or any other science or management. It might be an eye-opener for him, so he might just end up in the right field.
So are you happy that you took this decision? Let's say when you come to India, like you are here now for a few days, when you meet your other friends who chose to study in India, how do you compare? Are you happy with your decision?
Yes.
Why not? Whatever.
Definitely, because what happens is that there's a sort of inferior-superior complex between us. I mean, that would be rude to say, but there is.
Okay.
That's the truth. And
Is it merely because you are in the US and they are in India?
yes, because they're not at the level that I am at, and the over here it's too jam packed. Like all you need to do is take tuitions and go to the exam. Take tuitions and go to the exam. That's all you need to do. There's no extracurricular activities. Like how much you need to concentrate on your other activities is equally important as your academics. Over in the US, I just don't study. I have so many other activities, such as joining. I was the CFO of a club in my school, which is called the Business Society. It's a professional club, and that is really important in your undergrad because MBA or graduate schools look for leadership qualities, and if you don't have them, I'm sorry, you're not going to get in there. You know, you don't have a chance of getting into a good MBA school. So extracurricular activities like that is going to help and shape up your personality, which is going to be on a different par with students here. I'm pretty sure like people here do extracurricular activities.
But what difference do you see, let's say, in terms of the quality of your work ex and theirs? I know it's difficult to compare, but let's say what you were doing in the clubs there and what your friends are doing in the clubs here, or academically, or in other ways, what difference can you spot?
The way you're taught and the way you conduct yourself over there is totally different from the way you're taught and you're conducted here. We don't have a certain time of class. We have flexibility. We can choose our classes and we have time schedules. It's not like we start at 8 and we finish at 2 and then we're free the whole day. And people I've talked to here have schedules like that. I haven't had anyone who told me that they have different classes at different time. That's one good thing because you're flexible. And if you have any work, then you can, over there, if you have any work, then in between your classes you can cover up that work. And, you know, it's not like a lengthy process of just, you know, going over through books and lectures and just sitting there in the class and just dozing off.
Feeling sleepy.
Yeah. And in between, you can have, mostly I used to have my club meetings. So that's, you know, from like getting out of a sociology lecture and onto a management business club where you meet all your friends and you discuss about other issues in the clubs. So that's a different, you know, it's like a different, it's like a contrasting schedule, and your mind is like totally diverted to another place, and it's more interesting because it's not the same old boring thing.
Yeah, but don't you think, you know, as a parent, parent would be concerned. Look, if I give my young boy so much of flexibility, he's just going to go astray. He's just going to have fun.
I didn't mean anything like if you're flexible, you're astray.
Okay.
If you're flexible, you do things methodically. You do things in a more systematic way.
At undergraduate level, parent worries, look, he should be in a set schedule because, if I give him flexibility, he might exploit it in some other way.
Set schedule, basically, what do you call that word?
Restricts you.
It restricts you
Mm-hmm.
just to academics. And your personality is not just about academics. It's 100 more things.
And I think the other point probably which, flexibility brings also responsibility.
Yes.
That when you set your schedule,
You follow it.
and you follow it, and then you sort of know what to do in the balanced time. Probably is that one of the advantages of?
Yes, because you get more responsible.
Right.
As soon as you get out of class,
Take your life in your own hands.
yes, because as soon as you get out of class, you have a time to be in the club. You have to get there on time, and you have to conduct people under you. You have to be there. You have to set an example for the people who are following you, who are like interns for us. So we have to set an example. If I'm coming in casuals one day and I have to go to my business club meeting, I have to change in 5 minutes and be in my professional attire and be there. Because if I'm going in my casual, I'm sending a wrong message to them, and I don't want to do that. So with great power, and then you have to change back and then back to lectures and then go back to the library, study, and then back to lecture and then go home. And if you're studying abroad, you're not dependent on your family. That's the more important thing.
Yeah.
You do everything by yourself. You have to do your laundry, you have to cook food, I know there are many restaurants, but you still have to do those. I mean, you cannot go to a restaurant every day. You have to drive, or you have to take a bus, you have to have the schedules. All that is, it's an eye-opener for a student who is living in a luxury. I call this life a luxury life at home, because I know that I'll just get anything from a phone call, be it food or be it my laundry. Over there, I'm sorry, but that's yeah, because you're busy, you're good. When you go to sleep, you're satisfied by yourself.
The US education system being very much focused on practicality, application. Is it really true, or is it, and in what way is it?
Yes, being by practicality, every lecture, every class I've taken, I've had at least 3 to 4 group projects which are due by the end of the semester, and many of them are presentations in groups, and basically a case study that we start in the starting of the class, worked for it throughout the semester and presented at the end. And that's like major 30% of my grade. If that's not there, I might end up with a C, and a C is not acceptable. I mean, if you're looking at GPA wise, C is, it's disastrous. So that's how they make it practical. Plus you have so many, in the universities over there, you have events every day regarding your major, or not even your major, but you have events such as, I'm a management major, and I went to an event where they were talking about biogels, how biogels are filling up in the sea and making it a trash can. And I get a mail, because we have a portal, so I get a mail in the notification alert that there's a presentation by a PhD guy doing a presentation on biogels, and they have a small abstract of briefing about what it is, and I found that interesting. So what I did the next day, I had free time, so I was like, why not utilize it? And I went to the science and engineering. That was my first day I stepped into the science and engineering building. Yeah, it was quite overwhelming, but it was nice. It was nice. Whatever the guy told, I probably didn't understand 80%, but that 20%, I felt that I knew something, and something other than what I usually study.
So let me just summarize, what we have gathered from whatever you shared with us is that your advice to the undergraduate students is do your homework right, research. That's one point which has come out loud and clear.
Yes.
Second point which I could understand is that if you're studying abroad, then it's a lot more than studying. It's like your overall development of your personality, your being, or whatever word you use it.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And third thing is that probably taking responsibility for your life, taking your life into your own hands, right?
That's right.
And also what you're saying is that look, do research but take expert advice.
Yeah, I mean, you have to do that, because you don't want to end up going somewhere that and you might just regret. You're just gonna waste your 4 years of life.
What really is your motivation, to associate with EGE and to be with us today?
The way this firm works is, for me, a firm needs to be really systematic. It is systematic. It is organized in a when I see people down there and the counselors, the quality of the counselors, there should be. Again, I cannot think of any other word other than systematic, because that's the most important word to me, and being true. And the counselors are very knowledgeable about other universities, and it just aids you through those tedious steps. You don't want to do that. You don't want to waste, because the thing is that when you start applying for universities, that's the time when you have your finals going on.
Sure.
And I don't think you want to risk it.
Yeah, sure.
Sure that you want to risk it to get the biscuit, but you don't want to do it at that time, because it might just have some effect on your finals. Just leave it on someone whom we can trust.